Let's say for some reason he actually wins that lawsuit. Where would that $10 billion come from?
Again, it would come from...
Asking like your opinion whether it's right or wrong.
It would come from Treasury.
It comes from Treasury, which comes from the general fund?
The Treasury general account.
So taxpayers.
Yes.
Do you have any final say at all in the process of this? Or is the DOJ just going to instruct you to cut a check and or settle, and you have no independence to actually make a decision whether or not the president deserves $10 billion? Even though the Treasury Judgment Fund is called the Treasury Judgment Fund, you have no control over the Treasury Judgment Fund.
We act as paymaster.
If you're a paymaster, you'd be the person's signature is to the Treasury Judgment Fund.
I would assume it would be a wire transfer.
Yes, I'm assuming we're not that old school.
I think you're confused, Senator. I am not part of the decision.
Well, you're certainly a person that send on the wire transfer, and I think that's why there's a lot of people that are actually do not trust the president's actually looking out his best interest.
I guess you're saying that
I'm controlling the time here. I'm controlling. You're not obeying the law. You're plundering U.S. taxpayer dollars. Plundering U.S. taxpayer dollars. Plundering taxpayer dollars. Plundering. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Secretary Bessent, thank you again for being here today. We kind of touched on this earlier. In addition to being Treasury Secretary, you are serving as acting director of the IRS. So following up on Senator Kim's questioning, so you are fully aware that the president is suing your agency for $10 billion.
Yeah.
We would agree. Would you agree that $10 billion is a good sum of money?
Yes, sir.
Where would that be cut from? Let's say for some reason he actually wins that lawsuit. Where would that $10 billion come from?
Again, it would come from...
process-wise. I'm not asking like your opinion whether it's right or wrong.
It would come from Treasury.
It comes from Treasury, which comes from the general fund?
The Treasury general account.
So taxpayers.
Yes.
Thank you.
Part of the 440,000 taxpayers whose returns were leaked.
If the president, they're not suing, but if the president prevails in this lawsuit, he's going to be able to pocket that money. My question is the president, has anyone in the president's office talked to you about this lawsuit in any regard?
They have not, and the president has said he will donate the proceeds to charity. You may have missed that.
So no one at all has discussed this to you whatsoever?
No, sir, and the president said he will.
Have you received, I didn't ask any more questions, have you received any advice from Treasury's legal division about how to handle this potential conflict?
This is a Justice Department matter. They represent Treasury in it.
Have someone from the Department of Justice actually come and talk to you saying that this is their purview and you need to stay out of it? Or who has discussed to you what is your role in this?
Our general counsel, who's sitting behind me, has told me that it is a Justice Department matter. The Justice Department defends Treasury in matters like this.
Okay, so it has been discussed with you. Do you have any final say at all in the process of this? Or is the DOJ just going to instruct you to cut a check and or settle, and you have no independence to actually make a decision whether or not the president deserves $10 billion?
Again, that is a DOJ matter.
And so the DOJ will entirely make that decision whether or not the president should receive $10 billion. You have no say at all.
Correct.
So you would just have to write the check if you were told to write the check.
Correct.
And you would write the check willingly if you're told by the DOJ to the president.
I will follow the law, Senator.
Okay. I mean, I think for many of us, this is very simple. And I think if this had been happening in any other countries, it would look an absolute, like a total shakedown of the American taxpayer. Are you also aware that President Trump has filed a claim seeking $230 million from the Justice Department for investigations conducted during his previous candidacy?
I'm unaware of the cumulative number.
Okay. So if the president wins or settles these claims, that money will come also from the Treasury Judgment Fund, which you do control. Have you recused yourself from any decisions about paying the president on these claims?
Again, I'll follow the law, and I'm not involved with any of this. It stems from justice.
So even though the Treasury Judgment Fund is called the Treasury Judgment Fund, you have no control over the Treasury Judgment Fund?
We act as paymaster.
So you will sign it then?
Sorry?
You will sign the check then? If you're a paymaster, you'd be the person's signature is to the Treasury Judgment Fund?
I would assume it would be a wire transfer.
Yes, I'm assuming we're not that old school.
Yep.
But that being said, so you have no say in this whatsoever. You will only basically follow what the DOJ says, but you're the person that actually is the final person that pushes send essentially on the wire transfer.
Yes.
And even if you feel or that it is unjust, the fact that this president is going to basically plundering U.S. taxpayer dollars, you will still hit that send button.
Even if I believe that 6103, the IRS tax code, was violated and 440,000 taxpayers were leaked.
So
back
to this other thing. So now, you do believe, though? I mean, do you understand why some of us see a problem with that? And let me ask just a very simple question: do you work for the president of the United States?
I work for the American people.
So can the president fire you?
Or he can.
He can fire you, correct?
Yes.
So isn't it a conflict of interest that you're going to be making these decisions and the president has full power over you?
I think you're confused, Senator. I am not part of the decision.
Well, you're certainly a person that send on the wire transfer, and I think that's why there's a lot of people that are actually do not trust the president's actually looking at his best interest.
I guess you're saying that
I'm controlling the time here. I'm controlling. You're not obeying the law. You're plundering U.S. taxpayer dollars. Plundering U.S. taxpayer dollars. Plundering taxpayer dollars. Plundering. Thank you. You'll back.
Okay. Senator McCormick is now recognized.
Thank you. Mr. Secretary, welcome. In Pennsylvania, we're fortunate to have abundant energy resources, as you know, when you attended our summit, a skilled workforce, and world-class universities. The pro-growth policies of President Trump have enabled the Commonwealth to capitalize on this optimism and investor confidence, and it's attracted billions in investment and spurred growth. The working families' tax cuts are set to deliver more than $600 billion, a new relief to the middle class. And still, there's more to be done. Permitting reform, for example, would unlock billions, perhaps trillions of dollars that sits on the sideline right now. And so, Secretary Bessent, would you talk for a minute about permitting reform and how important those reforms are to unlock additional growth beyond the fantastic growth we've seen so far?
Well, as I've often said, Senator, the president's economic program is a three-legged stool: trade, tax, and dereg. And permanent reform is a very important part of the deregulatory agenda. And as we've seen, more supply also pushes down inflation and increases economic growth. I think it is the deregulatory agenda is the most unsung part of the president's agenda.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. And, there's going to be a big push, I think, from the Senate. There's already been legislation in the House. And, Mr. Secretary, looking forward to your support for a permitting reform package, which I think could really stimulate further the president's agenda. Second question, the working families tax cuts also created Trump accounts, a new tool, creative, sort of really remarkable moment to support families and build wealth for the next generation. Can you talk just for a minute about the motivation for the program and what do you think this is going to be able to accomplish?
Senator, 38% of American households do not have any exposure to the U.S. equity market. So for the next 4 years, as a $1,000 seed investment is made to all newborns, it will bring them into the system and set them on a path. There can be contributions from family members, from employers, from philanthropies, from philanthropists, and we believe that over 20 states will do this. So it is going to, over time, allow all families to have a share of the great American innovation and growth economy.
You know, as people I meet in Pennsylvania hear about this and understand what it means for their kids, their families, I mean, it's a really incredible step, and I hope it's something we can really formalize and make part of not just this great administration, but future ones.
Well, I think too, Senator, and thank you for your leadership on this, that I have been a longtime advocate of financial literacy, and I think that this will be a real-time experiment in financial literacy as the families, as the children are able to look at their accounts on their phone and be part of this growth. I think that it will become very real and engaging for them.
Yeah, I agree. Final question. As you know, that the trajectory of U.S. debt is unsustainable. Net interest payments alone account for 14% of total government spending, and higher debt levels combined with high interest rates put upward pressure on the cost to service our debt. Further, $10 trillion of government debt will mature over the next year and roll over, which is a little less than a third, I guess, of debt outstanding. Can you discuss briefly the conditions in the U.S. Treasury market and the trends you're monitoring as we enter this period?
Senator, thus far, the market has been very resilient. We've had some of our best auctions in a long time this year. We're seeing very good foreign demand. But as you said, the trajectory, we have to get it back under control. As I talked earlier, we need to get back to something with a 3 in front of it in terms of deficit to GDP. Reason I came out from behind my desk was I was worried that many people, especially as Vice President Harris was campaigning, wanted to go into a European-style social democracy, low growth, raise taxes, growth lower, more taxes, unsustainable debt. So that's why at FSOC, we are focused on growth as as desirable, but also a lack of growth as a financial stability risk.
Good. I don't have time for a final question, but I will just say I want to compliment you and the administration and OFAC in particular for the maximum pressure campaign on Iran and what that means for supporting freedom in Iran. So thank you for that. Thank you, your team.
Thank you.